people think that success is overnight. And one of my favorite quotes is that it only takes 10 years to be an overnight success. And we all forget that.
It's taken me over 25 plus years.
Oh, totally.
Well, welcome to Launch Your Wealth live podcast, Roundtable at Dreamore here at Santa Monica. And we are very excited because this is a conversation definitely representing a lot more of the empowered women in us. Why don't we start off with you, and then we'll kick off some of these questions.
Perfect. So my name is quite complicated. It's in the Irish language, so unfortunately it is not easy to pronounce. It is Saoirse, and it means
Saoirse,
freedom in Ireland.
See?
Oh no, Jonah,
Correct
absolutely
me.
no. It is a tough one. It is a tough one. So yeah, my name is Saoirse McCabe. I am born and raised in Cork City, Ireland, and I have been based in Los Angeles for 7 years.
Wow.
So I'm based out of West Hollywood. So happy to be at this event. This is actually the third Dreamore event that I've gone to. I find it a very empowering environment. I think the conversations are so intention, meaningful, and we have depth. And I love that the concept of Dreamore, of that you're adding a human element to work. I think that a lot of the time we can be becoming so kind of tied down to productivity that you forget about the people and the stories behind the work. So I'm very happy to be here today, and thank you.
Well, I'm so happy. Well, again, my accent does come out with certain unique spelling words, but thank you for that. And you hit the nail on that, which is that transactional situation we're in when we're doing business, our profession. It's always go, go, go. So you're right. Like, I love being we have this on 3rd of the month, and then something to look forward to. And we're like, we can chill, have a cognac drink, the Martingale drink. And then, we have like sort of this more natural, organic conversations, like what's going on? Like, what's life, So, and we've got Natalia. We'd like to hear from you.
I'm Natalia Jansen. I am a founder of Starring in Your Life. I am a life coach, a theater-inspired transformation coach, and a theater arts teacher at LUSD. So I work with kids and adults, and I love empowering everyone to step into the starring role in their life. So many, especially women, we tend to sit back, wait for permission, or wait for the right time, or hide in the wings of our lives, or even, get settled with a supporting role in the other people's lives in our story. So my mission is to empower women to step into the starring role right now. There's no time, you don't need permission. And if you were waiting for a sign, this is it. This is it.
Right? Yes.
All right. You get to define who you are, how you live your life, and what matters to you, and the foundation for that is joy.
So, honestly, when you guys talk about like where you're coming from, what's interesting is because I have, your notes here. You both are powerhouse in my, opinion, because one is you've taken, what you do, what you love to do, especially with teaching, with kids and the arts, the theater. And then now you're evolving, as a professional, as a entrepreneur, and then you're creating something that's going to serve sort of this generational. It's not like a one-time thing, like I'm selling a product or I'm just here doing a service and that's it. There's actually a legacy stemming from that.
Oh, absolutely. And imagine if we start raising our kids understanding who they are, empowering them to get to know themselves, to understand that what they think and what they feel is valuable and it's unique, because there's not a single other person on this planet that has the exact same life experience or preferences or likes or dislikes. Each one is unique, and it's a voice that we can cherish. And I am a big proponent of art, especially theater and improv, being a fabulous platform for that space where you get to come out and play, where you get to try a different identity and see what that feels like. Not only does it help you understand who you are better, but how to relate to other people. You're going to start exploring what it's like to really look at things from a different perspective in a very safe space.
Yes. And actually, even with your background, connecting to what she was saying, coming from your family's, hospitality, the whole, business life that you've seen growing up. It's that, there's a legacy. You may not be doing it directly with your family now that you're here, but like what you're doing to evolve and to grow. And you did mention about one of your favorite books. And so, we can definitely get into that. And I see some of the books out here. So here's how we can kind of get on that. Like what book, author, speaker, made a difference, and you had those moments where you were like, that really like hit the nail for me, or like you just had this moment of like the aha. And it could be multiple authors, multiple books, because I know I have that. But like the one thing that kind of stuck with you that you feel like every day you try to implement, it's almost kind of like your anchor that reminds you. So, because for me, it would be like, when I think about Tony Robbins, my experience in 2003, without him, I probably wouldn't know like how far I could have gone as a human being. Never mind as a woman, but like I felt like that like the humanized humanity part of what he did, in his program, really like opened my eyes. And I was pretty young at that time, so I wasn't fully evolved yet. We're still evolving. So like, what would that be for you both? And, we can start with you, and then, you can talk about it. And, perhaps with the audience, there's something that they can learn. Young, old, there's no age in this opportunity of growth, right? So yeah, take us through that.
No, definitely. I love that, Jonah. And before I get into the biggest lesson that I've ever learned from self-help books, which I'm a huge advocate of.
Yes.
And I think sometimes they can be a bit intimidating and also frustrating for people. And that is because the simplest concepts can be the hardest to understand.
Yes.
This may seem like a juxtaposition, but sometimes you read something and you're like, okay, well, that's obvious. But kind of learning how to really execute that in your life, that's where it can get tricky. And
sometimes the simplicity of it, it's so profound. You have to go so deep that a lot of people may miss.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I want to say that sometimes people can't believe that it could possibly be that simple.
Right.
So they want to study and overanalyze and overthink, and they create the complication. It doesn't need to be there, And so I find that, because the truth is very simple. Not that it's easy to execute, but it really is simple. And if we could truly accept that and then work from that premise and start building from there, magical, amazing things occur in your life.
The overthinking, the being paralyzed to think that everything has to be perfect. So then we kind of take ourselves down and we're like, I don't know if this is it for me, or I want to. Is that what your experience has been for the past 7 years, or in general?
I think sometimes in general, I think especially kind of in the self-help world, sometimes people can think that they're getting so caught on perfectionism. And that's why the book that I chose to discuss today is Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yes.
Because again, like a lot of great concepts, as Natalia was saying, they are so simple, but they're difficult to execute.
Yes.
And I think it's about how you apply to your daily life. So I think for me, the most profound thing that I took away, and I read this book actually last year, and it is something that I incorporate daily, and that is his concept of compound interest, and how compound interest can be applied to your life in a non-financial way, but in terms of habit building and habit stacking. So if you think about compound interest, of course you're investing, and over time your investment is going to grow. It's not just financial, it's with our daily habits that we build. For example, eating healthy daily, working out daily, pushing yourself to, try something new. Even like in a professional perspective, the amount of outreach you do, always extending it, reaching out to new clients, just kind of doubling up on what you already have. And why this was a concept that stuck with me so much is because I'm a victim of the social media generation that is obsessed with instant gratification that is not real. So I think for me, when I kind of come across the compound interest, and essentially the point that he is making is that the little changes daily, they compound into the most significant life changes that occur over the years. And ultimately, what I took away from it that I thought was even more productive than the compound interest is how it can also work the other way. So I would use the analogy of, think of credit card debt. Think the interest can hurt you.
Right.
So your compound interest, say daily, you miss a workout, you eat bad, you slack off in work, that one day, of course, it's not going to override all the hard work that you have been working towards. But if you make a habit of it, the compound interest can work with you or against you. And I think, especially, you know, I'm a millennial, but I see it very much so in Gen Zers. People think that success is overnight. And one of my favorite quotes is that it only takes 10 years to be an overnight success. And we all forget that.
It's taken me over 25 plus years.
Oh, totally. And what we realize is when you look back, and we all look back on our careers, it's all these little things. It's all the compound interest that we have had. And, you know, the little things are the big things.
Yes.
And how you do the little things can ultimately be how you execute the bigger things. And for me, that was just so profound. And it's something that I have to remind myself of daily. You know, because we're so used to wanting this instant ROI and having things now. And especially for me, coming from the startup role, I'm one of the founding partners in Martingale Cognac. We launched 2 years ago. And in my previous professional career, I have been working with you know, older brands that have been around for quite some time that have had a lot of recognition. So I think universally in business, and being a woman in business, there are going to be the situations that we encounter that are, of course, universal.
Yes.
But the startup world was something very new to me. And I think when I read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I learned about compound interest, I was like, wow. And another quote, which who I wish I could remember it's from, but I don't, unfortunately, was everything that you have right now is a direct reflection of the work you did 6 months ago. And so again, this is something that I need to tell myself to ground myself, because working in the startup space, some days I feel like, oh my goodness, I'm banging my head against the wall. You know, I'm working so hard. When is it going to come through?
Yes.
And breakthroughs, they can take a decade. And I think for me, like that execution was just to keep yourself on track, that it's the small steps that you take every day that will be significant to your success. But ultimately, to remember, it's also the bad habits.
Yes.
And the bad things. Think of it again, I'm repeating myself, but it's like credit card debt. I think that's the easiest way to...
Or the things that we don't do still add
Yes,
up,
yeah.
right? So...
Yes. So I'm going to challenge some of these ideas, because that's exactly the part of the... that where the problem is perpetuated, because we accept ideas and beliefs and we don't take time to examine them. And one of the books, I bought a whole bunch of books and there's so many more.
That's cool.
But the one that I really want to point out is U2 by Price Pritchard. And this is where I'm going to challenge, you know,
which what you just said is the work you did 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's not about time.
It's not.
It has nothing to do with time. It does have to do with understanding that how you do anything is how you do everything. And that, yes, that comes to the habits. So building good habits, yes, 1 degree shift over time lands you in a completely different life or different place. But what Price Pritchard talks about is quantum leap. And that takes you to the quantum physics. Like, this is science, okay? This is science. But what's necessary for you to have a quantum leap is to challenge your thinking and challenge your habits and question everything. So, in other words, most of us adults, by the age of 35, at least 85% of our thoughts, thought patterns, beliefs, habits are automated. They're in our subconscious mind. We do them automatically. We don't even think about it. And what I'm inviting you to do is to start questioning that. Even the things you think are working for you, they may be working, but only to a certain level. What if there is a quantum leap? What if there is better? So, but if you stop and notice what you're doing, and you start getting curious and open to experimenting with trying something different to see if you can get a better result, that's where quantum leap and growth and excitement and things can happen that appears overnight. But again, it's not necessarily overnight, but it's about deliberate and intentional creation. We're always creating. If you woke up this morning and you're breathing, you're creating a day of their life. Every day you wake up is a gift. It is a blank canvas that you can decide what you create today. So you can either create by default and go about automatically your habits, your routines, and not questioning anything, and then be surprised why your days all look the same, why life feels stale, why you don't feel like nothing is happening. Or you can wake up and be grateful that you have a day and then use this day to create magic, to give it intention, and then truly create something. But here's the call. People say they want something and they think that's what intention is. The universe or God or spirit or source, whatever word works for you. But your intention is where your attention is. Where your attention goes, where your focus is, that's where all your energy flows.
Yes.
And that is what is read in terms of your energy and vibration as your intention. So if you want to create wealth, then you should be noticing and paying attention and focusing on how to create wealth.
Yes.
But if all you do is look at your bills and you're thinking about debt and you're complaining about not having enough money, then where's your attention? Your attention is on lack, on poverty, on no money. You can't create wealth if all your focus is on poverty.
Oh gosh, there's like 3-4 things that I just want to acknowledge with what you both shared. So, you know, when you talk about the compounding, so let's touch on 2 things, because you said the word investment. So, you know, my side of the industry, but let's take it to that point where investing in yourself. And so part of what I even learned is like showing up for yourself first.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you're not able to show up consistently, then we won't even recognize what are we here? Who are we? That type of things. That's what went through my thoughts in 2003. So I was like, no, I got to start work. And so the other part that you're talking about is, you know, the whole idea of wealth and wealth creation. It really starts with us. So Napoleon Hill is one of the best influences that I've had. Tony Robbins was more.
The original.
Yes, I do have the original. Thank you. And one thing I take away from him, and I still listen to him. If you look at my playlist on YouTube, it's a lot of Napoleon Hill. But one of the things that I take away from that, which both of you are saying, is that, you know, when you think about the idea of like wealth creation, like, am I just chasing bills? Am I just chasing like whatever this instant gratification when you're on social media? You know, like those things could be facade, could be masked. That it's a bubble. But part of that I see is indoctrination, right? So we come from that. So we were taught like you listen, you take tests, and validation from, well, you won't be anybody if you don't get straight A's. Like that was sort of what was fed in our thoughts, right? So now that we have a little bit of like, you know, wisdom, because we've lived life, you know, as obviously I also speak as a mother, that's the one thing that I really value, is that, you know, you have your present day each and every day. Yes, they go to school. Yes, we work. We do have to take care of everyday responsibilities. But at the end of the day, who do you spend time with before you go to sleep? Yourself. Right?
Yes. Yeah. I want to just say, if you remove the word have to and replace it with get to, it is a whole different energy that you bring to it. So it just so in my coaching, I really like to bring things to instantly being able to apply day-to-day moments, because that is where you're creating creating in every moment. And if you get in the habit of being in that space where you are grateful, when you are coming from a place of joy, when you're looking for something fun, even if you have to do chores, right? There's a difference between, oh my God, I have to get laundry done, or I get to do laundry. Let's put on my favorite song and let's have some fun while I do it. So just simple as that, because if you are in that space, different kinds of ideas come. You know, Einstein said it. You can't solve the problem with the same mind that created it.
No.
Right?
So you have to
look somewhere else.
And I go ahead, because I want to bring up the other part you mentioned. But
no, of course. So no, I love everything that Natalia has said, but again, just breaking it down in very, very simple concept that has helped me. It all goes back to self-identity. And another book that has changed my life last year and this year is Dr. Joe Dispenza, particularly Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Yeah.
And it was so eye-opening to me. And again, maybe all the viewers here are already aware of being like, again, it is maybe painstakingly obvious, but for me, just the concept of identity is everything.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, you can be aligned with your goals in terms of your actions. You could have your mindsets. You could align yourself in the correct environments. However, if you don't truly believe and ship your identity to believe that you are worthy and that you are in alignment with what it is that you want, it's not going to happen.
It's not.
And it can help in, yes.
Precisely. I absolutely agree. It's all about being.
Yes.
So imagine a smoker. If someone sees themselves and identifies as a smoker and they want to quit, the action is a struggle. It is a force of will, which can only go so far, which is why it's not successful. But if the person simply starts changing the identity and starts identifying, I am a non-smoker. I think that cigarettes are disgusting. I hate the smell. And they start saying it without trying to stop smoking.
Right.
But it takes a certain amount of time and repetition to absorb, to make it part of your new belief system. But the moment that identity shifts in your subconscious, picking up a cigarette will be a no-brainer. Like it'll be disgusting to you.
Yeah.
It will be easy. And that's the part that anything can be easy. But you have to ask that question. You have to be willing to, open up the corner of your mind and be curious, instead of being constantly in that, oh my God, this is hard. This is going to be so hard. This is really hard. What if it could be easy? Just ask that. You don't even have to know how to make it easy, but just opening up. The quality of your life depends on the kinds of questions you ask.
I'm going to pause here since you guys brought that up. I'm just going to our audience and obviously to those who are tuning in. So Natalia is in the Life Mastery, which is starringinyourlife.com, which is a movement for women, educators, and creatives who are ready to rewrite the roles they've been cast in and reclaim their star power. I really love that. Now, the other part is you are a PhD candidate, researching how theater and improvisation build positive self-image and self-efficacy in students.
Yes.
Now, going to you, because you mentioned about, being in the startup space, and you're like, sometimes you just want to like, oh my God, what's going on? I can absolutely relate. And with you, what's interesting is that, you have this master's degree in management and marketing from University of College Cork, and comes from a family behind the Cork Heritage Pubs in Ireland. And, when you, someone like me that's reading this, to me, I'm going, wow, like, when you're talking about identity, you're talking about like being able to evolve. And then you mentioned about Dr. Dispenza. It's interesting because I love his work. With all of that, if you really think about it, like where we are today, like what in the world were we doing 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago, a month ago? And it will always feel like it's hard and challenging. But isn't it interesting? We're going. And then when you look back, it's like, do we gain anything from looking back, or should we look forward? Because I find myself, when I look forward and I imagine things, it feels more exciting than looking back. So, I mean, you both are just, incredibly experienced in your own way. And really, there's no measurement of that. Like, there's no measurement or what's the right word? Comparable. Because we're all unique in that sense. So now I'm transitioning to the topic. That's the reason why I'm setting it up that way. Do you both see potential challenges and issues, because we are going into this, more advanced AI, automation, robotics, and like I mentioned earlier, a lot of fear mongering is happening? Yes, there's facts, there's truth, a lot of layoffs happening in corporate America, tech companies. But what I'm curious to know, for those that are maybe, inspired to hear, what you have shared, and other people that want to be in the life coaching space, for example, or just creating impact, share what potential issues and challenges you see, but what's your take on the good stuff, the good side of it, based in your industry, the startup space, all of those things that's happening in your world. I'd love to hear that actually for me as well. So I'm really curious.
Do you want to start, Natalia, or
and then Natalia can
So, of course, AI presents a lot of challenges. However, within chaos, there's always opportunity. I think for me, coming from a hospitality background and working in the hospitality space, I think that we're the one industry that is possibly at an advantage. I always say when people ask me about hospitality, I say, service is one thing, providing hospitality is another thing.
Yes.
We are in the industry that provides community and connection. And that is something that I believe that AI cannot replace.
That's true.
Of course, it's going to affect other things, but I think in the way it can be positive. A lot of people that work in our space, I'm going to give the analogy of, say, a restaurant. The restaurant manager, a lot of their day is consumed with, doing behind the scenes admin work. Hopefully AI can really help to do that so that they can spend more time working on creative projects. Traditionally before, there used to be the maitre d'. I read a really interesting article on Forbes recently about how the maitre d' is a dying craft. The front of house manager, they were there, they're making you feel welcome, because nowadays everyone is so overwhelmed. And of course, COVID has drastically changed the hospitality space. Managers are taking on more and more stuff that's traditionally away from their role.
Right.
So I think AI can be really positive because it's going to allow people to spend more time on what hospitality truly is about. And that is about creating beautiful experiences for people. It's not only about connection, but it's also about community. And that is something, while I'm sure people will very much appreciate the efficiency of AI, the accessibility. I'm sorry, we're humans. Sometimes it might take us a few days to get back to an email. Automation can be very good and very bad. But I think that is one thing that we are very grateful that it's going to be quite positive in a way, because it can kind of bring us back to our brass tacks of the industry. So that'd be kind of my take.
Hospitality came out like, COVID, post-COVID. How important it was to have the human touch, the human communication, whether you're in the service space.
And energy and presence.
Exactly.
The energy and presence, and just having real, real life conversations, where there's emotions.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I want to use some of the spiritual concepts to look at this. Well, if we accept the premise that there's nothing good or bad, simply things are the way they are. They're neutral, like electricity. Electricity can be used for good to light up your house, or it could be used to burn it down. So it's all about how we use things. Nothing is good or bad. It's our own thinking about it, our attitude towards it, that makes it where we choose to focus. Brings back to what we choose to focus. And yes, even our reality, reality doesn't exist. It's a subjective projection of your inner experience. What you experience in this moment is very different from what I'm seeing and experiencing, because it is all connected to the way my brain, my habits, my thoughts, my belief systems, my past experiences are interpreting the experience that we're sharing in here right now. And so when people get also, well, these are reality. No. See, reality will shift the moment you change the way you think about something. So it's same thing with AI. Yes, there's potentialities that people can use it, abuse it. It can create problems. But here's another exciting thing. Every problem is an opportunity to come up with a creative solution. And so there's nothing good or bad. Or if we're going to go, everything is good. Everything serves a purpose. Even the things that appear bad, or we may initially think as bad, if you truly look deep enough and you look in the big picture, it's all serving the good, which is life. Life is constantly moving. Life is always about evolution. If you are not moving forward, if you're not changing, evolving, exploring, you're not alive.
You're dead.
If you stop and you become stagnant, you start deteriorating, you fall apart. So you're either living or moving forward, or you're dying. So the AI is exciting to me. It is really fun. It has created so much space for me as a solopreneur, building my coaching and speaking business and trying to serve people. AI is my assistant, is my companion, is my study buddy, is my research assistant, is helping me figure things out so much faster than if I had to sit with thousands of books in a library trying to find information. So, what I love is you're both in an industry that I believe AI is not even a threat.
Because
I
it's about
really-
relationships,
Right.
yeah, I really don't believe that, because
Yeah.
hospitality is about, being present, like being physically present. Like,
Yes, and theater is it's art.
yes.
Like, theater in particular, it's the energy in exchange between the audience and the performer, or between the two performers in the space. There's no way to replace that. It's
Actually,
just the human element.
I mean, actually, even as a author, if you're writing
Yes.
for your PhD, AI is your support. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
you cannot take like a real life, the essence of the writer that wrote the book. You just can't. Like, that's something that I don't see AI even beating. Yes, AI is going to be there. It can write faster than us. Like,
But also, ultimately, regardless of what industry you're in, the core dynamic is everything is relationships and relationship building.
yes.
No matter if you're a B2B, B2C,
Yes.
no matter what service you're offering or product you're offering, ultimately is relationships.
Yes.
And AI can be a very helpful assistant to us. I completely agree with you. But in some things, it's just not going to be able to replace human connection.
So I'm gonna add
Yes.
something here based of the industry and space that I'm in. I don't see AI being of support to a space where you're in the investment space, whether you're a VC, you're a real estate investor, or just in general, you're an investor, and like you said, it's all about relationships. You're building credibility. You have alignment. Alignment is key, even in this space, right? Very, very important. But if you don't implement that sense of responsibility to your clients, to your investors, whether to perform, for the investment that they've trusted you in, if you are not showing up with the highest level of like awareness,
presence and being.
presence,
Yes.
and the constant like communication that you can do, your reputation can go down the drain, and AI can't help you.
Yes.
No robots can help
Because
you.
everything is about relationships, just like you said. It's the humanity. So AI gives us an opportunity to lean more into our humanity.
That's what it
You
is.
can no longer afford creating environments where you put pressure and where the profit is the only measure of
Yeah.
success, because it isn't. Right? Toxic cultures. How many people are burned out, stressed out, hating their jobs, or feeling like they're checking their soul at the door when they walk into the building where they work?
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
So I love that this is coming to awareness, that there are companies and even corporations that are beginning to see that the real value of the company is in the community and the culture that they are creating, and people are going to want to be that. Some people were even willing to take a pay cut if the culture is good, if the relationships are good, when there is feeling of community and support and care, real genuine human connection. And I agree with you, AI cannot replace that.
This just literally birthed to a new topic for next episode, because even in this space, obviously, we're at Dreamore, it's a very curated event, and building rapport, relationships. But what really went, as you're talking, and I'm like thinking about, like, where are we at in this, advancement of AI? And in this space, if we really think about it, AI is not yet like in the level of empathy and instincts, right? So
will it ever be?
Will it ever be? We don't know,
yeah,
right?
we don't know.
And the interesting thing is, like, you could think you're making the best decisions for that business or for that investment, but there's no AI that's going to say, wait a minute, Jonah, don't make that mistake. So don't, like, we can see data, we can see, patterns, but it's not going to be instinctive and say, no, if I were you, don't invest that money because it's going to go down the hill.
Yes.
Like, it's not going to tell us that. It's going to show us facts, like based on data, based on research, but there's still a difference. Like, that's what I'm seeing. It's like, where do you put AI and sort of this automating, of how we function in the hospitality industry, in the investment industry, the life coaching industry, in the teaching industry? Gosh, like, you can birth so many different topics in this. And, I want to definitely transition to, the main topic of, why we're even here. Dream more. I love that. It's all about more. We can create more. There's possibilities everywhere. It's literally very inspiring to see other women like all of us, see a different, like you're saying, like there's no reality. We're seeing different versions on our own. So my question to you both as we conclude, what do you, how do you, or what do you interpret wealth creation in your life, in your business, in your profession? Is there something that, that you believe that others can tap into that maybe we don't know? Because I remain to be a student of life. I don't know everything, and I don't claim that I do. And so when I tune in podcasts and read books and listen to speakers, there's always that curiosity of like, what can we tap into? So I'm sure there's something there that you both can share. So what is
go
wealth?
first if you don't mind.
Yes. What is wealth creation in your world, in your point of view, and something that our audience can have a takeaway?
So wealth and wealth creation to me definitely all goes back down to your community, the quality of the community and the relationships you keep in your life. Now, this may seem like a cop-out answer that kind of people say all the time, but it's something that's very interesting for me. Obviously, I'm coming from an Irish European background. Those societies over there are a lot more community-driven, whether in the US it's an individual-based society in terms of a lot of their value systems and how they like interpret things and how they just go about life. That was something that I very much noticed, and I actually did read like various articles explaining this. However, it takes a village. I think that another quote they always say is your network is your net worth. Right. Not going down in terms of that necessarily. I think it all goes back to the further belief system that your community is everything. And that is what true wealth is. We're pack animals. We all help each other, and that's what's going to give you true fulfillment.
I agree. Yeah. There's an impact to relationships.
Yes, yeah.
Could be good impact, bad impact.
Exactly.
But community is your support system.
Yes.
That can really push you to where you want to go and where you need to go.
And through your community, you never know who you could meet. You could meet someone that could change your whole life. You could go to an event,
100%.
meet your next investor, meet your next mentor. You really don't know what
BFF.
Yes, and you're not going to have that unless you have and you engage and you embrace community. I think people are becoming increasingly lonely, especially you read a lot of studies about Gen Zers, and again it's going back to this very much individualistic mindset where people are very much they're kind of we all grew up in a sense of you show up for your community. You're like if you're tired, it's someone's birthday, it's celebrating a milestone, you show up. Whether Gen Zs and all of them. I mean, boundaries of course are very good. I'm not saying they're not, but I do definitely see the younger generations are like, oh, I have to protect my boundary, protect my peace. And it's like, if you don't have an enriched life, sometimes if you're tired, it is about showing up to an event to support someone. Because that's how you build community. It's showing up to do something that maybe you don't feel like doing, because that's what's collectively good for everyone. And I hope that I'm communicating this in a clear way, because I feel like I might be jumping all over the place.
I was going to say it's quite interesting that you see wealth and wealth creation so differently from your background. I mean, as I'm looking here, like you have so many experience, just layers and layers. You've worked in luxury brand building, on trade strategy. I mean, you've been nominated for Whiskey Magazine Icon of Whiskey Awards. I mean, you would think the first thing you'd say is, that's wealth creation for me. But it's not. No,
honestly, the reason why I had this opportunity to be one of the founding partners of Martingale is because one of my previous colleagues, we were both at the exact same level, and it was so interesting. Again, our founder and co-founder were all from the previous corporation. So I was referred by someone else in the company to this, but my friend that I previously worked with, he saw that I'd applied, and he fought tooth and nail for me to have this opportunity. He was like coaching me. He was telling them, you gotta have Saoirse. And I believe that I wouldn't have this opportunity to be an equity holder in this company if it wasn't for the community that I built with my colleagues at the time. We were a big company. It was a company of 20,000 people. I'm now in a company that has 7 of us globally. And if I didn't have those relationships in that community, firstly, it was another previous colleague that referred me to the job. Once I was in the interviewing process, another previous colleague saw me in this. So sorry, I feel like I'm jumping, but just to make it clear that so many people fought and helped me to get this position, and I wouldn't have had that if I didn't have the community and embrace the relationship with my colleagues.
A robot isn't going to do that.
No, it can't.
It could probably provide something, but I don't think it's so no, I mean, that's something that I would say normally, like somebody would kind of instantly think, wealth creation. Oh, it's my medals, but I'm not saying that, because most people I've met, you would be surprised. They've accomplished so much, but they don't even talk about it. They
Right.
talk about in this version, like
Right.
being present, right? Like being with my family, being able to have time for myself, growing in my business. Like those are the things that I would hear
Right.
in my conversation.
And so, and that's what I want to say is it's very subjective, and it's important that we take the time to decide what it is for you, because wealth creation could be different for different people. But I'm a firm believer that it's all about beautiful balance in all four quadrants of our life. We create results in four different areas. We create results in health and well-being. We create results in our love and relationships. We create results in our vocation, which is how we share our gifts, whether it's through our work or hobbies, or philanthropy. But we have a purpose. We do work, so vocation, and then time and money freedom.
Yeah.
Now, in order to be wealthy, you must have vibrant health, right? You have to
Number
be able
one.
to be healthy, be able to do things that you love to do, take care of your body, your emotions, your mental health. You want to be in well-being, as well as want to have deep, meaningful relationships, whether it's with friends and colleagues, family, partners, children, right? That's the community. In your vocation, you want to love what you do.
Yes.
You do not want to feel like you're checking your soul at the door when you come to your work. So you want to be able to spend time doing things that truly make you feel alive, that bring you joy. And you want to have enough money and freedom and time to travel or donate, give gifts, be charitable, be a philanthropist, whatever it is that's meaningful to you. But each one of us gets to define that for ourselves. And it's very important not to look to what other people tell you what success or wealth is, but that you really take time, identify the core values, what is most meaningful to you, and then align with that.
Just imagine in the life, like based on what you're sharing and just really listening to you, and that I've expressed that to you a few times, in the events. Just imagine a future where you can have an AI or that robot with obviously the AI system in it, and that type of affirmation, that type of coaching could be with you. And based on what you said, it's the community, it's the people touch, the humanity side of it, just being there, and you've got sort of human beings, people that can feel, that are empathetic, they can understand. Just imagine that space of the what if that changes, and now, right, that future in the next, 10 years could be that. And that's like to be determined in a lot of these conversations. But I wanted to add that because wealth and wealth creation, it really is an infinity. It's endless.
Yeah, it is. Always perfect. It's a process, and it always grows. There's always more. That's the nature of life. A blade of grass will push through cement in order to seek light, right? So life is always moving forward. It's always growing. It's always expanding. I mean, if you find a dilapidated building, what happens in a few years? It's overgrown with flowers and life. New life comes through. So it's a continuous cycle. And I just want to kind of remind everybody that, we are part of this life. The breath in you connects you to this life force, this energy, this intelligence that creates universes, planets, everything. We're part of it. Look, the vast, we don't even have a real comprehension of how vast the universe is. So we are like a little speck of dust, it's a
Dr.
blip,
Seuss.
right? And so
notice a person.
Right? Realize that our life is so minuscule and so short. So why would you want to spend it doing things that or being afraid or worried or upset or angry or regret, right? Life is always growing. Pain is part of growth. Pain is good. Suffering is optional.
Actually, Natalia, to add to your point, something that I love is we hear a lot about post-traumatic stress, but what about post-traumatic growth?
Yeah.
That's actually a new concept, and people can take that and turn it into something that's very, very powerful.
That's positive.
I mean, it's part of the life experience, you know. Suffering is inevitable.
Yeah.
It's something that we're all going to experience. But it's about trying to take that pain and grow it into something beautiful.
It's like the Russian dolls. You know, when you open it,
Yeah.
it's more, right? It seems like that. It's like we will continue to evolve. Like you said, that word evolve. It's like, I feel like AI will evolve. The future is evolving. Our businesses will evolve because we're putting our time and effort. There's the community, there's the people. So my take on this as we close is that wealth, aside from it being subjective, is wealth is infinity.
It's abundant.
Right?
Yeah, it's an abundant
Wealth
universe.
creation
Yeah.
is you showing up, right? Like you said, it's being able to show up, the compounding of it, the intention behind it. And this is so like aligned.
Yes.
Even when we talk about, you know, being in a live event, being able to do a podcast, being able to, you know, share with everyone that's here in this world. Hopefully they can find us, you know, as they go onto YouTube very soon. But I'm just saying, you know, you're here at a live event, Dreamore, and as we close this podcast, we're now going to have these chats and conversation. It's just,
and I want to point out the key word. It's wealth creation.
Yes.
And creation, there's no end to it.
Yes.
That's the key.
And it's creative.
Yes.
Creativity
And fun.
creative.
Please remember to have fun.
Yes.
I love that.
Oh wow! Like this, I mean, we can go on and
I
on with
know.
this topic.
We could.
This is.
This is flowing almost too well, Jonah. I knew it would be organic, but now I'm like, I could sit here all day.
I'm ready to eat some grapes and cheese and wine.
I know, yeah. Yes, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, again, this is an opportunity for women like us to be seen, to represent what we're doing, but above and beyond that, it's really about what we're creating out there. That's going to leave a legacy, serve a purpose, and all of the books that we're reading. If there's one thing that I can share with everyone, don't stop the curiosity. Read, because we're learning, right? We're learning.
Yes.
That is endless.
Remember
learning.
to play, experiment, and be
I love
curious.
Yeah.
Have
Well,
fun, guys.
Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we're here. We're going to enjoy the rest of the event here at the Dreamore Santa Monica, and Launch Your Wealth podcast is we're good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.